I'd like to introduce our second speaker. So we have Julieta Curdi. And Julieta is the new addition to our Prisma team. She is a product designer from Buenos Aires in Argentina. She studied graphic design at the University of Buenos Aires, and most recently she led the product design team at Auth0. She joined Prisma to work on the Prisma Data Platform. So with that, I'd like to welcome Julieta to the stage. Hello.
Hello. Hello,
Welcome.
Daniel. How's it going? Thank you.
Very well. Well, I don't want to take up much of your time. Are you ready to share your screen?
Yeah, let's do this.
And I'd also like to remind you that we are running a raffle this meetup, and we'll be raffling a copy of the book Designing Data-Intensive Applications by Martin Kleppmann. So if you want to join, we dropped the link to that in the chat. You just have to enter your name and we'll raffle that at the end of the meetup. And with that, I'd like to give the stage to Julieta. So
yeah, thank you, Daniel. So like Daniel said, I'm Julieta. I'm a product designer here at Prisma. And I joined a bit about like a month ago. And previously to that, I was managing a product design team at Auth0. And I want to talk a bit about developer experience. So if we were all on the same room, I would probably will ask you about tools and products that you use in your day-to-day that you remember that have an amazing experience or a really bad one. If you want, you can drop them on the chat. But probably if we think about really bad developer experiences, this is how you probably feel when you're using them. But when things work and the experience is really great, it probably feels a bit more like this. So, of course, when we talk about developer experience, we talk about the experience of using developer products. So all your interactions and feelings throughout that experience. And what makes a good developer experience? So I think first and foremost, it works. It does what it's supposed to do, and it does it well. It's easy to use, so it's intuitive. It integrates really nice with your workflow, but it also has a good documentation supporting that. And in the end, all of these things empowers developer and enable them to reach their end goal, which is not to use that tool, but is to build something with that. So how do we do that at Prisma? So how do we deliver a good developer experience at Prisma? And first, we build tools that are easy to use, like I said, and integrate with your workflow. And if we think about the Prisma schema, you can build a data model that is human readable, that you understand it, that it's easy to comprehend. And if you already have a database, you can, Prisma Introspect can take care of that for you. So that makes all that process of working with Prisma really easy. If we think about the Prisma client, you write queries in the same way that you think about them. So again, it's easy to interpret as a human. And if we combine that with like our VS Code extension that has an autocomplete feature that reduces the amount of errors that you can have, which helps you along the process. And with Prisma Migrate, it generates database migrations automatically, so you don't have to write. So all of these things fit within your workflow and has an easy to use. It's think for humans, and that makes the experience more easy. So, but when we think about the developer experience, it's not about the tool and the use of the tool alone, but it's also about everything that is around that. So documentation is a huge part of the developer experience. And our Prisma documentation is amazing. It has quick starts to get you started really fast, examples that you can reference, and guides that are built to use case and jobs that you need to perform, and everything is easy to access, which is a huge thing that is important for a good developer experience. Apart from that, we also have a Prisma data guide that it's not focused on how to use Prisma, but also if you're new to Prisma and working with databases, you can learn how databases work. So as a new person in this world of databases, this is really helpful and contributes to a good experience using the product. And I think last but not least, having a community behind that. So if you're a developer and you're using a product that has a huge community behind it, you know that you're not going to get support only by the documentation and support channels, but you're also going to have like a community behind it that will help you. And in our case, our community contributes a lot through GitHub, reporting bugs, issues, sharing ideas, and helping us learn more about how they're using Prisma. We also have a Slack channel where people help each other interact and share experiences, and a YouTube channel like this one that you're on right now, where our team generates content, tutorials, workshops, and meetups like this when people can share and learn. But how do we keep improving this experience? What is it that we are building at Prisma to keep evolving that? So I'm part of a team called Developer Productivity. This is us. And we enable developers to feel more productive when working with Prisma on their projects by providing them with tools and integrations that fit with their environment and stack. So if you were on our previous meetup, or if you saw our blog post that went out last week, we just launched a Prisma online data browser. This is on early access, and you can access it by going to cloud.prisma.io. And this is our first steps towards a bigger vision that we have for a data platform. Like I said, we enable developers to feel more productive, and we believe that collaboration is a huge part of that. So with the online data browser, you can link a Prisma project from your GitHub account with a database, and you can visualize all this on an online version of our studio, where you can read and edit your databases, make changes to it, and you can also invite people from your team that you can collaborate with, and they can also read and edit the database, and you can give them different levels of permissions. So again, you can try it out and share with us your feedback by going to cloud.prisma.io. But like I said, we are working on a lot of things, and we are thinking of ways that we can make that first experience with Prisma easy. And some of the ideas that we have and that we're working on are, for example, help you by provisioning a database for you, so a hosted database that you can work with, having a schema editor that you can collaborate as well, and with templates that you can get started with, and providing an end-to-end flow by helping you get an application that you can test with at the end of this process. But I think the most important thing about creating a good developer experience is talking to your users. So talking to developers that are using your product. And I want to ask you all if you are using Prisma, whether that is you're a new user to Prisma, or that you've been using it for a while, or that you're trying our Prisma Online Data Browser. And if you want to share your feedback with us, we're going to share a link on the YouTube chat for you to share your contacts, so we can schedule some meetings to talk. And then we want to understand what are you working on, what are some of your use cases, and listen to your feedback. So yeah, thank you. And this is where you can find me.
Julieta, thank you so much for that. That was a really nice introduction into how we approach developer experience, and it was also nice to have that kind of with a visual presentation from a visual designer like yourself. I'd like to also open up a question. Are you ready to take some questions?
Sure.
Okay, so if anyone is interested in asking questions, this is the moment. Please drop them in the chat. I guess one of the questions that I have, having watched your talk just now, and sort of having been with Prisma for a while, is what are some of the challenges that you face along the way when, building developer tools? There's a lot of sort of engineering constraints. How do you sort of approach that as a product designer?
Yeah, so I think what is important is to really understand the problems that you're solving. And personally, I think like I said, talking to your users, really understanding what are the problems that they're going through, what are their particular use cases, and seeing how we can make that better for them. And personally, I really like to understand how the products works myself. So I'm not a developer by any means, but I like to just try things out to really go through the process that our users go through by using our product.
Got it. Cool. Well, we didn't have any questions. So, Julieta, I'd like to thank you once again for presenting. And we hope to see you here soon, perhaps with more features to share.
Yep.
So
Thank you so much.
All the best.